Welcome to Monk's Moon Temple. I want you to notice something. Right now, as you're listening to these words, there's a part of you that's aware that you're listening. There's a presence here, behind your thoughts, behind your eyes, that's simply witnessing this moment. Most of the time, you don't notice this presence. You're too busy thinking, planning, worrying, remembering. But it's always here. It's the one thing that never changes, even as everything else does. The man we call the Buddha built an entire teaching around this simple observation. He noticed that human beings spend their entire lives looking for happiness in things that change, money, relationships, status, pleasure, and then wonder why they're never satisfied. It's like trying to build a house on shifting sand. No matter how beautiful the house, the sand will eventually move, and the house will fall. The Buddha wasn't his name. His name was Siddhartha Gautama, and he was born a prince in a small kingdom near the Himalayas about 2,500 years ago. His father tried to protect him from ever seeing suffering. He built him palaces, surrounded him with beauty and pleasure, kept him isolated from the reality of sickness, old age, and death. But you can't protect anyone from the truth forever. One day, the prince ventured outside the palace walls and saw what his father had hidden from him. An old man, bent and broken by time, a sick man, wasted by disease, a corpse, being carried to cremation. And for the first time, he understood that these things would happen to him too. All the pleasure, all the luxury, all the protection, none of it could save him from the inevitable. That realization changed everything. He left the palace, left his wife and newborn son, left his position and privilege, and went searching for something that wouldn't fade, wouldn't decay, wouldn't die. He studied with the greatest teachers of his time. He mastered their meditation systems. He pushed his body to the edge of death through extreme asceticism. And none of it worked. The peace he sought remained just out of reach. Then one day, he remembered something. When he was a boy, sitting under a rose apple tree while his father worked, he had fallen into a state of natural presence. He wasn't trying to achieve anything. He wasn't striving or struggling. He was just sitting, aware, present. And in that moment, there was peace. He realized then that the path wasn't about adding something new. It was about removing the things that obscured what was already there. Not striving, but releasing. Not achieving, but allowing. Not becoming someone else, but recognizing who he'd always been. He sat down under a tree, what we now call the Bodhi tree, and made a promise: he would not rise until he had penetrated the deepest truths of existence. As the night progressed, his mind grew quieter and quieter. The layers of conditioning, belief, and habit began to fall away. And when the morning star appeared in the sky, he saw clearly for the first time. He saw the nature of suffering, its cause, its end, and the path to that end. He saw that what we call the self is just a collection of changing processes, nothing permanent to cling to. He saw that peace is possible, here and now, not somewhere else. From that moment on, he was no longer Siddhartha the seeker. He was the Buddha, the awakened one. And for the next 45 years, he walked the roads of northern India, teaching anyone who would listen, sharing what he had discovered, pointing others toward the same awakening. What's remarkable is how fresh his teaching remains. 25 centuries later, in a world of smartphones and space travel and genetic engineering, his words still cut through the noise. They still speak directly to the human condition. They still offer a way out of suffering that doesn't require belief in anything supernatural, just the willingness to look honestly at your own experience. The Buddha saw that we're all living in a kind of trance. We're sleepwalking through life, reacting automatically to pleasure and pain, chasing things that won't satisfy us, avoiding things we can't escape. And we don't even know we're asleep. That's the nature of the trance. It's self-reinforcing. The more you're in it, the more real it seems. But here's the good news, you can wake up. Not all at once, usually. Waking up is a process. It happens in layers, like the sun rising over the mountains. First you see a little light. Then more. Then suddenly the whole world is illuminated and you wonder how you ever missed it. The Buddha called his teaching a path. Not a destination, but a way of walking. Not something you arrive at, but something you practice, moment by moment, day by day. And the beauty of a path is that you can start wherever you are. You don't need to be special or holy or enlightened to begin. You just need to take the first step. That first step is simply paying attention. Noticing what's actually happening in your experience, rather than getting lost in thoughts about what's happening. Feeling the breath in your body. Sensing the weight of your feet on the floor. Hearing the sounds around you without labeling them good or bad. Just being present with what is. Try it now, for just a moment. Take a breath. Feel it. Another breath. Notice how the mind wants to wander off into thought, that's okay. Just come back. Another breath. This is the whole practice, right here. Not complicated. Not exotic. Just being present with this moment. If what you're hearing is resonating. If some part of you recognizes that there's more to life than the endless cycle of grasping and avoiding, please take a moment to subscribe to Monk's Moon Temple. When you subscribe, you're not just getting more content. You're saying to yourself and to the world, I'm serious about this. I'm ready to see. I'm ready to wake up. Hit that subscribe button now. Let me ask you something simple. What is suffering? Most people would say suffering is when bad things happen. When you lose someone you love. When your body hurts. When life doesn't go your way. And that's not wrong. But the Buddha noticed something that changes everything. Two people can experience the exact same event and have completely different internal experiences. Think about it. Two people get divorced. One falls into depression, can't move on, carries bitterness for years. The other grieves, heals, and eventually loves again. Same event, different outcome. Why? Two people lose their jobs. One spirals into shame and hopelessness. The other sees it as an opportunity. Same loss, completely different experience. Why? The Buddha's answer was revolutionary. Suffering isn't what happens to you. Suffering is what you do with what happens to you. It's not an event, it's a reaction. It's not something the world does to you, it's something you do to yourself. This is liberating and challenging at the same time. Liberating because it means you're not a victim of circumstance. Challenging because it means you're responsible for your own experience. If suffering comes from your reaction, then you have the power to change your reaction. The Buddha explained this with a simple image. He said that when something painful happens, it's like being shot by an arrow. That first arrow hurts. It's unavoidable. Physical pain happens. Loss happens. disappointment happens. Everyone gets hit by the first arrow. But then we shoot ourselves with a second arrow. And sometimes a third, and a fourth. The second arrow is our reaction to the first. It's the story we tell ourselves about what happened. It's the, this shouldn't be happening, and the, why me, and the, if only I'd done something different. It's the fear, the anger, the self-pity, the blame. The first arrow is unavoidable. The second arrow is optional. And most of our suffering comes from the second arrow. Let me tell you about a woman who discovered this. Her name was Diane, and she was a violinist with a symphony orchestra. Music was her life. From age 5, she knew what she was meant to do. She practiced for hours every day. She went to the best music schools. For 20 years, she played professionally. It was everything. Then one day, she noticed a tremor in her left hand. At first it was barely noticeable. But it got worse. Soon her fingers wouldn't do what she asked. The notes came out wrong. She couldn't control the bow. Doctors diagnosed her with focal dystonia, a neurological condition that affects musicians. There was no cure. Her career as a violinist was over. Diane came to see me because she was suffering. Not from the tremor, she could still do most things with her left hand. She was suffering from the story she was telling herself. The story went, I'm a failure. My life is over. Everything I worked for is gone. I'm worthless without my music. Every day, Diane shot herself with these arrows. Every day, she relived the moment she first noticed the tremor. Every day, she imagined a future of emptiness. The first arrow was a neurological condition. The second arrow was a psychological catastrophe. I asked Diane to do something simple. Close her eyes and just notice her left hand. Not the thoughts about it, just the physical sensation. She sat for a moment. It's shaking, she said. That's all. It's just shaking. And what does shaking feel like? She was quiet. It feels like movement. Like a vibration. It's not painful. It's just there. Now notice the thoughts. What are they saying? Her face tightened. They're saying I'm a failure. They're saying my life is over. And which one hurts more? The shaking, or the thoughts about the shaking? Diane's eyes opened. For the first time in months, there was clarity. The thoughts, she said. Definitely the thoughts. The shaking is just shaking. It's the thoughts that are killing me. This is the insight that changes everything. The shaking is just shaking. The loss is just loss. The disappointment is just disappointment. It's the mind that takes these neutral events and turns them into suffering by adding stories, judgments, and fears. I'm not saying Diane's loss wasn't real. It was devastating. 20 years of her life, her identity, her passion, gone. That first arrow was real and it hurt. But the suffering she was experiencing, the ongoing, debilitating suffering, that was coming from the second arrow. And the second arrow, she discovered, was optional. Over the following months, Diane didn't learn to be happy about losing her career. That would be unrealistic. But she did learn to stop adding to her pain. She learned to feel the grief without piling on the self-hatred. She learned to experience the loss without the story that she was worthless. And something unexpected happened. Once she stopped shooting second arrows, space opened up. She started teaching violin to children and discovered she loved it. She began to paint, something she'd never tried, and found a different kind of creative expression. She even started playing again, just for herself, however her hand would allow. It wasn't the same. It would never be the same. But it was something. This is what the Buddha meant by the end of suffering. Not the end of pain. Pain is inevitable. Not the end of loss, loss is part of life. But the end of the suffering we add on top of pain and loss. The end of the second arrow. The practice is simple. When something happens, notice the first arrow. Feel it. Let it be there. Then watch for the second arrow. Watch for the stories, the judgments, the self-blame. And when you see them, just see them. You don't have to fight them. Just see that they're arrows you're shooting at yourself. And know that you have a choice. You can keep shooting. Or you can stop. The choice is always yours. The Buddha analyzed suffering in a way that's been useful for 2,500 years. He said there are 3 layers, like the skins of an onion. The first layer is the most obvious, the suffering of suffering. This is physical pain, illness, injury, loss. It's the first arrow. It's what we normally think of when we think of suffering. And it's real. The Buddha never denied that life contains genuine pain. The second layer is more subtle, the suffering of change. This is the suffering that comes from losing what we have. It's the happiness that turns to disappointment when the ice cream melts, when the vacation ends, when the loved one leaves. It's the fact that everything we enjoy is temporary, and part of us knows it. Even in our happiest moments, there's a subtle undercurrent of anxiety because we know it won't last. The third layer is the most subtle. The suffering of conditioned existence itself. This is the fundamental unsatisfactoriness of being a separate self, constantly trying to protect itself, constantly trying to get what it wants and avoid what it doesn't. It's the background hum of discontent that's always there, even when things are going well. It's the reason why, after achieving a goal we've worked years for, we feel, not much. Maybe even a little let down. Because the goal was never going to deliver what we really wanted. Most people spend their entire lives dealing only with the first layer. They try to arrange their lives so nothing painful happens. They chase pleasure and run from pain. And they wonder why, even when they succeed, they're still not satisfied. Let me tell you about a man who discovered the third layer without knowing what it was. His name was Richard, and he was a successful surgeon. By every external measure, he had won at life. He was 53 years old, married to a woman he loved, father of 2 wonderful children, respected by his colleagues, financially secure. He had a beautiful home, interesting hobbies, good friends. And he was miserable. Not miserable in the way most people are miserable, not because of problems or losses. His life was objectively fantastic. But there was a persistent emptiness nothing could fill. He'd achieve a goal, feel good for about a day, and then the emptiness would return. He'd buy something he'd wanted for years, enjoy it for a week, and then it would just be another thing. He'd take his family on amazing vacations, and even in the middle of them, part of him would be thinking about the next thing. Richard came to see me because he thought something was wrong with him. On paper, his life was perfect. Inside, he felt like he was dying. I asked him to describe the emptiness. What did it feel like? Where was it in his body? He closed his eyes and tried to locate it. It's in my chest, he said finally. Like a hollow space. Like something's missing. And when you feel that hollow space, what do you usually do? He thought about it. I try to fill it. I work harder. I plan another trip. I buy something. I do anything to not feel it. And does it work? He laughed, but there was no humor in it. For a little while. Then it comes back. Always comes back. I asked him to try something different. Instead of trying to fill the hollow space, just sit with it. Feel it fully. Not run away or distract himself or try to fix it. He sat there for a long time, his eyes closed, his face changing. At first he looked uncomfortable, almost pained. Then his expression shifted to something like surprise. Finally, he opened his eyes. It's not empty, he said. What do you mean? The hollow space. It's not empty. It's full. Full of. I don't know what. Energy. Awareness. It's like I've been trying to fill something that was already full. I just couldn't feel it because I was always running away. This is the discovery that changes everything. The emptiness we feel, the fundamental unsatisfactoriness of conditioned existence, isn't a problem to be solved. It's a door to be opened. It's not that something is missing. It's that we've been looking in the wrong direction. We spend our lives trying to fill a hole that was never empty. We chase external satisfactions because we can't feel the internal satisfaction that's already there. We're like someone dying of thirst on a boat floating on an ocean of fresh water, too busy bailing to notice what's beneath them. The Buddha called this third layer of suffering, the suffering of conditioned existence. It's the subtle discontent that comes from being a separate self, me, standing apart from the world, always trying to get something from life. As long as we experience ourselves as separate, we'll feel incomplete. As long as we feel incomplete, we'll keep reaching for something outside ourselves to complete us. And nothing outside ourselves will ever work, because the incompleteness isn't outside, it's built into the very structure of the separate self. This is why the Buddha's teaching goes so deep. It doesn't just help you cope with pain. It doesn't just help you handle loss. It points to the very root of suffering. The illusion that you're a separate self, standing apart from life, needing to get something from it. When that illusion is seen through, the third layer of suffering begins to dissolve. And with it, the first two layers lose their power over you. Richard spent the next year exploring this. He didn't quit his job or abandon his family. He just started paying attention differently. When the emptiness arose, he didn't run from it. He sat with it. He explored it. He got curious about it. And gradually, he discovered that what he'd been calling emptiness was actually fullness, just not the kind of fullness he'd been looking for. He told me once, near the end of our work together, I used to think happiness was something I had to find. Now I see it's something I have to stop hiding from. It was here all along. I just couldn't see it because I was too busy looking somewhere else. This is the invitation of the Buddha's teaching: stop looking somewhere else. Stop trying to fill the hole. Turn around and see what's already here. The peace you're seeking isn't in the next achievement, the next relationship, the next purchase. It's in this moment, right now, if you're willing to be present for it. Now we come to the deepest teaching of the Buddha, the one most misunderstood and most important. It's the teaching about what you are, and what you're not. The Buddha said something that sounds crazy on the surface. He said there is no self. Not that you don't exist. Obviously you exist. You're listening to these words. You have thoughts and feelings and experiences. But the Buddha said that what you think of as you, the permanent, unchanging, independent self that lives inside your body and has experiences, that thing doesn't exist. It's a construction. A habit. A deeply ingrained illusion. This is so hard to understand because we've been living inside this illusion our entire lives. We feel like there's a self. We feel like there's someone in here, observing, deciding, experiencing. That feeling is so convincing that the idea it might be an illusion seems absurd. But consider this, if there's a permanent self in there, where is it? Is it in your head? Your heart? Is it permanent? Then why does it change so much? The you of 10 years ago is not the same as the you of today. The you of this morning is not the same as the you right now. Thoughts come and go. Feelings come and go. Beliefs come and go. Even your body is completely different from the body you had 7 years ago. Every cell has been replaced. So what's the constant? What remains the same from moment to moment, year to year? The Buddha's answer, nothing. There's no permanent self. There's just a process. A flow of experiences. Thoughts arising and passing. Feelings arising and passing. Sensations arising and passing. And the illusion of a self is just another thought, another feeling, arising and passing like everything else. Let me tell you a story that might make this clearer. There was a man named James who came to see me because he was terrified of death. Not the process of dying, the actual ceasing to exist. The thought that one day the lights would go out and there would be no more James terrified him so much he could barely function. James was 61, retired, in good health. By all logic, he had many years left. But the fear was consuming him. He couldn't sleep. He couldn't enjoy time with his grandchildren. Every beautiful moment was poisoned by the thought, this will end, and so will I. I asked James to do something unusual. I asked him to find the self that was afraid of dying. Not the thought about death, the actual self that would cease to exist. Where was it? He closed his eyes and searched. It's in here somewhere, he said, pointing to his chest. Can you point to it exactly? Can you locate it? He tried. His hand moved around his chest, then his stomach, then his head. It keeps moving, he said. Every time I try to pin it down, it's somewhere else. Keep looking, I said. Take your time. For 20 minutes, James sat with his eyes closed, searching for the self. Occasionally he'd report something, I think it's in my thoughts, but then he'd notice that thoughts come and go, so that couldn't be it. He'd feel a sensation in his body and think, there it is, but then the sensation would pass. Finally, he opened his eyes. He looked confused but also strangely relieved. I can't find it, he said. I've been looking everywhere, and I can't find anything permanent. There are thoughts, feelings, sensations, but no owner of them. No self having them. They're just happening. And the self that's afraid of dying? He was quiet for a long moment. If there's no permanent self to find, then what exactly is going to die? This is the insight that liberates. Not that you won't die, you will, physically. But what dies is just a collection of processes, not a permanent entity. The fear of death is the fear of losing something that was never really there. It's like being afraid of the flame going out, not realizing you were never the flame, you were the fire itself, which was never born and will never die. The Buddha analyzed what we call the self into 5 processes, or aggregates. First is form, your body, constantly changing. Second is feeling, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral sensations, constantly changing. Third is perception, recognizing and labeling, constantly changing. Fourth is mental formations, thoughts, emotions, habits, constantly changing. Fifth is consciousness, the awareness that knows all these, also changing moment to moment. These 5 aggregates are all there is. When you look for a self behind or beyond them, you find nothing. Just more processes. Just more change. Just more flux. This isn't a philosophy to believe. It's an experiment to conduct. Sit quietly and watch your experience. Try to find the self. Try to locate the you that's having this experience. Is it in your thoughts? Thoughts come and go, which one is you? Is it in your feelings? Feelings change, which feeling is you? Is it in your body? Your body is constantly changing. Which version is the real you? Keep looking. Keep searching. And if you're honest, if you're thorough, you'll come to the same conclusion James did: there's nothing there. Just process. Just flow. Just the endless dance of the 5 aggregates, appearing and disappearing, moment after moment. Now, if this sounds scary or nihilistic, you're missing the point. The teaching of no self isn't about nothingness. It's about freedom. Think about it. If there's no permanent self to protect, what is there to be afraid of? If there's no fixed identity to defend, what is there to get angry about? If there's no separate self to satisfy, what is there to crave? The reason we suffer is because we're constantly trying to protect and promote this illusion of a self. We're constantly afraid of losing it, diminishing it, failing it. We're constantly trying to make it bigger, better, more secure. And it's exhausting. Because the self we're trying to protect doesn't even exist. It's like trying to build a wall around a cloud. When you see through the illusion, something remarkable happens. The fear starts to dissolve. The grasping starts to loosen. The constant pressure to be someone, to achieve something, to protect something, it all starts to fall away. And what's left is just life. Just experience. Just the moment, exactly as it is, without the overlay of me and mine. James spent the next months exploring this. The fear of death didn't disappear overnight. But it lost its grip. Every time it arose, he'd look for the self that was afraid. And every time, he couldn't find it. Gradually, the fear became thinner, less convincing. Eventually, it became just another passing sensation, like an itch or a sound, there one moment, gone the next. He told me once, near the end of our time together, I used to think I was a wave afraid of disappearing. Now I see I was always the ocean. The wave comes and goes, but the ocean remains. I was never the wave. I just forgot. One of the Buddha's most practical teachings is the middle way. It's simple: avoid extremes. Not too tight, not too loose. Not indulgence, not deprivation. Just balance. The Buddha discovered this through his own experience. First, as a prince, he lived a life of complete sensory indulgence. He had everything: palaces, pleasure, luxury. And he found it didn't lead to lasting satisfaction. The pleasures always faded, leaving him wanting more. Then he tried the opposite. As an ascetic, he denied himself everything. He ate almost nothing. He slept on thorns. He pushed his body to the brink of death. And he found this didn't work either. It just led to weakness and suffering. Out of this, the middle way was born. Not indulgence, not denial. Just balance. Caring for the body without obsession. Enjoying life without attachment. Working toward goals without being consumed by achievement. The Buddha used a simple metaphor: the path is like tuning a stringed instrument. If the strings are too loose, they won't play. If they're too tight, they'll break. The art is finding the tension that's just right. Most of us live with our strings too tight. We're stressed, striving, pushing. We think if we just try harder, we'll finally get what we want. But all that tension makes us brittle, ready to snap. Others live with their strings too loose. They've given up, checked out, stopped caring. They float through life without direction, numbing themselves with distractions. The middle way is neither. It's engaged but relaxed. Purposeful but not desperate. Caring deeply without being attached to any particular outcome. Let me tell you about Marcus. He was a corporate attorney, brilliant at his job, known as the guy who never missed anything. But he was miserable. He couldn't sleep because his mind ran through lists of things he might have forgotten. He couldn't enjoy time with his family because he was always checking his phone. His body was a wreck: chronic pain, high blood pressure, stomach problems. He was 46 and felt 80. When Marcus came to see me, he said, "I just need to be more organized. If I could just get everything under control, I'd be fine." I asked how long he'd been trying to get everything under control. 20 years. "And how's that working?" He laughed, but it was sad. "Not great." I suggested something radical: for one day, be completely disorganized. No lists. No double-checking. Just let things be whatever they were going to be. Marcus looked at me like I'd suggested he jump off a bridge. "But I'll miss something. Something terrible will happen." "Maybe," I said. "Let's find out." He agreed to try it for one day. That evening, he called me. His voice was lighter. Nothing terrible happened. I got more done. And I wasn't exhausted at the end of the day. Over the following weeks, Marcus found his middle way. Not chaos, but not obsessive tightness. He learned to care without clutching. To work without worrying. Within months, his blood pressure was normal. His pain diminished. He slept through the night. And he was still one of the best attorneys in his firm, maybe better, because he wasn't exhausted. On the other end of the spectrum was Celeste. She came from a wealthy family, never had to work. She spent her 20s traveling, partying, having fun. By her mid-30s, she was bored, empty, and deeply unhappy. She tried everything to fill the void. More travel. More parties. More shopping. Nothing worked. The void just kept expanding. When Celeste came to see me, she said, "I have everything anyone could want, and I feel nothing. What's wrong with me?" I asked when she'd last worked for something. Really worked, with effort and the possibility of failure. She thought about it. "I've never worked for anything. Everything's always been given to me." Her strings were too loose. Without the friction of effort, without the satisfaction of earning something, life had become meaningless. I suggested she get a job. Not for money, for the experience of contributing. She found a position at a non-profit helping homeless teenagers. Entry level. Minimum wage. The first weeks were hard. She wasn't used to showing up on time, taking direction, doing tasks she didn't enjoy. But something shifted. She began to care about the teenagers. She began to feel useful. She began to experience something new, the satisfaction of contributing, of being needed. Within a year, Celeste had been promoted twice. She was running programs, making a real difference. And for the first time in her life, she was happy. Not the fleeting happiness of pleasure, but the deep happiness of purpose. She had found her middle way. Not loose and directionless, but not obsessive either. Just the right tension for her. The middle way isn't a formula. It's not about finding some perfect balance that works for everyone. It's about paying attention to your own experience and adjusting. Noticing when your strings are too tight and learning to loosen. Noticing when they're too loose and learning to tighten. Most of us lean in one direction. Some are naturally tight, we strive, control, and suffer from our own intensity. Others are naturally loose, we float, avoid, and suffer from our own aimlessness. The middle way isn't about becoming someone else. It's about finding balance within your own nature. If you're naturally tight, your path might involve learning to relax. To let go. To trust that things will be okay even if you're not controlling everything. If you're naturally loose, your path might involve learning to engage. To commit. To show up fully and do the work. Either way, the practice is the same, pay attention. Notice what's happening. Notice the results of your actions. And adjust. Not too tight. Not too loose. Just right for this moment, on this instrument, playing this song. Now we come to the core of the Buddhist teaching, the framework that everything else hangs on. It's called the Four Noble Truths, and despite the name, they're not things to believe. They're things to investigate. Things to see for yourself. The first noble truth is simple: there is suffering. Life contains pain, loss, disappointment, dissatisfaction. This isn't pessimism, it's realism. It's acknowledging what every human being knows but tries to avoid. That things aren't perfect, that we're not completely in control, that happiness is fragile and temporary. The second noble truth is more interesting: suffering has a cause. It's not random. It's not just the way things are. Suffering arises from something specific: craving and clinging. We suffer because we want things to be different than they are. We want pleasure to last. We want pain to end. We want things we don't have. We want to keep things we're about to lose. This wanting, this grasping, this clinging, this is the engine of suffering. The third noble truth is hopeful: suffering can end. If suffering has a cause, and if that cause can be removed, then suffering can cease. There is a state of being free from craving, free from clinging, free from the endless cycle of wanting and not getting. The Buddha called this state Nibbana, the unconditioned, the deathless, the final peace. The fourth noble truth is practical. There's a path that leads to the end of suffering. It's not magic. It's not grace. It's not something that happens to you. It's a path you walk, step by step, moment by moment. The Buddha called it the Noble Eightfold Path, and it's the most detailed, practical, effective system for human transformation ever devised. The Buddha sometimes presented these truths like a doctor diagnosing and treating a disease. First, the doctor identifies the illness: there is suffering. Second, he identifies the cause: craving and clinging. Third, he determines the prognosis: it can be cured. Fourth, he prescribes the treatment: the Eightfold Path. This framework is brilliant because it doesn't ask you to believe anything. It just asks you to look at your own experience. Are you suffering? Yes, at least sometimes. Is there a cause? Yes, you can see it when you pay attention: the wanting, the resisting, the clinging. Can it end? Maybe. Let's find out. Is there a way to make it end? Let's try this path and see what happens. Let me tell you about a man who approached the Four Noble Truths exactly this way. His name was Walter, and he was a research scientist. He'd spent his career studying cellular biology, and he approached everything with a scientist's skepticism. When he first heard about Buddhism, he dismissed it as superstition. But something kept pulling him back. Maybe it was the emphasis on investigation rather than belief. Walter decided to treat the Four Noble Truths as a hypothesis to be tested. He'd spend time investigating each one, using his own experience as the laboratory. First, he investigated suffering. He kept a journal of every moment of dissatisfaction he experienced. He was surprised by how many there were. Not just the big things, the arguments with his wife, the frustrations at work, but the tiny things. The irritation at a slow internet connection. The impatience in a traffic jam. The disappointment when his favorite coffee was cold. By the end of a month, he'd filled pages. Conclusion: yes, there's definitely suffering. Next, he investigated the cause. He began to pay attention to what preceded each moment of dissatisfaction. He noticed a pattern: before every frustration, there was an expectation. Before every disappointment, there was a hope. Before every irritation, there was a preference. He began to see that his suffering wasn't caused by events. It was caused by his reaction to events, which was always some form of wanting or not wanting. Conclusion: yes, suffering has a cause, and that cause is craving. Then he investigated whether suffering could end. He began to experiment. What happened when he didn't add craving to an experience? What happened when he just let things be what they were, without wanting them to be different? He started small, with the slow internet, the traffic jam, the cold coffee. He found that when he dropped the wanting, the suffering dropped with it. The experience might still be unpleasant, the internet was still slow, but the suffering, the added layer of frustration, was gone. He began to see that it was possible to experience difficulty without suffering. Conclusion: yes, suffering can end. Finally, he investigated the path. He began to study the Eightfold Path, not as a philosophy but as a set of practices. He tried them one by one, seeing what worked and what didn't. He found that some practices were immediately helpful: mindfulness, effort, intention. Others took longer to understand: concentration, livelihood. But over time, he developed a set of tools that consistently reduced his suffering. Conclusion: yes, there is a path. By the end of his experiment, Walter wasn't a Buddhist in any conventional sense. He didn't believe in anything he hadn't verified for himself. But he had seen the Four Noble Truths in his own experience. He had seen that suffering exists, that it has a cause, that it can end, and that there's a way to make it end. And that was enough. Walter told me once, "I've spent my whole life testing hypotheses. But I never thought to test the most important hypothesis of all, whether my own suffering could end. It turns out, it can. Not completely, I'm not enlightened. But enough. Enough to make a difference. Enough to make life worth living." This is the invitation of the Four Noble Truths. Not to believe, but to investigate. Not to accept on faith, but to see for yourself. Your own life is the laboratory. Your own experience is the data. And the results are waiting for you to discover. The fourth noble truth is the Eightfold Path, and it's worth understanding because it's the actual practice, not philosophy, not theory, but the day-to-day work of transformation. The path has 8 factors, but they're not steps you take one after another. They're more like 8 dimensions of practice that support each other, like 8 spokes of a wheel. You work on all of them simultaneously, each one strengthening the others. The first factor is right view. This means seeing things as they really are, not as we want them to be. It means understanding the Four Noble Truths, not as beliefs, but as descriptions of reality. It means seeing that suffering comes from craving, that there's a way out, that the self is a construction. Right view is the foundation because without it, you're just wandering in the dark. The second factor is right intention. This means cultivating the motivations that lead to freedom. 3 intentions are especially important: the intention of letting go rather than grasping, the intention of goodwill toward all beings, and the intention of harmlessness. Right intention directs your energy toward the goal. The third factor is right speech. This means using words skillfully. Not lying. Not gossiping. Not speaking harshly. Not engaging in idle chatter. Speech shapes relationships and reveals the state of your mind. When you speak skillfully, you reduce suffering for yourself and others. The fourth factor is right action. This means behaving ethically. Not killing. Not stealing. Not engaging in harmful behavior. These aren't arbitrary rules. They're descriptions of behavior that leads away from suffering. When you act ethically, you create the conditions for peace. The fifth factor is right livelihood. This means earning a living in a way that doesn't harm others. Some occupations are inherently harmful: selling weapons, dealing in drugs, cheating people. Right livelihood means finding work that contributes to well-being rather than undermining it. The sixth factor is right effort. This means training your mind like a muscle. There are four kinds: preventing unwholesome states from arising, abandoning unwholesome states that have arisen, cultivating wholesome states that haven't arisen, and maintaining wholesome states that have arisen. Right effort is the energy that powers the whole path. The seventh factor is right mindfulness. This is the heart of Buddhist meditation. Mindfulness means paying attention to the present moment, on purpose, without judgment. It means being aware of your body, your feelings, your mind, and the phenomena of your experience. Mindfulness allows you to see clearly, without the distortions of craving and aversion. The eighth factor is right concentration. This means developing the ability to focus the mind single-pointedly. Through meditation, you learn to quiet the mental chatter and rest in states of deep calm. Concentration provides the stability that mindfulness needs to see deeply. These 8 factors work together. Right view gives direction. Right intention provides motivation. Right speech, action, and livelihood create a foundation of ethics. Right effort provides energy. Right mindfulness brings awareness. Right concentration provides stability. Together, they form a complete path to freedom. Let me tell you about a woman who walked this path without even knowing its name. Her name was Helen, and she was a kindergarten teacher. For 30 years, she'd spent her days with 5-year-olds, teaching them to read, to count, to get along with each other. She wasn't a Buddhist. She'd never heard of the Eightfold Path. But she embodied it completely. Right view. Helen saw children clearly, not as miniature adults, not as problems to be solved, but as exactly what they were. Small humans learning to be in the world. She didn't try to make them something they weren't. She just met them where they were. Right intention. Helen's motivation was pure. She didn't teach for money or status, there's little of either in kindergarten. She taught because she genuinely cared about her students. She wanted them to be happy, to learn, to grow. Right speech. Helen's words were always kind. Even when she had to correct a child, she did it gently. We use walking feet in the hallway, she'd say, not, stop running. The children felt safe with her because her words never wounded. Right action. Helen's life was blameless. She showed up every day, did her work with care, treated everyone with respect. She never hurt anyone, never took what wasn't hers, never betrayed a trust. Right livelihood. Teaching kindergarten was perfect for Helen. It harmed no one and helped many. She was contributing to the world in the most fundamental way. Shaping young lives with kindness and wisdom. Right effort. Helen worked hard, but not frantically. She prepared her lessons carefully. She paid attention to each child's needs. She went home tired but satisfied, not depleted. Her effort was steady, sustainable, effective. Right mindfulness. When Helen was with her students, she was really with them. Not thinking about what she'd do later. Not worrying about problems at home. Just present, attentive, aware. Her students felt seen because she actually saw them. Right concentration. Helen could focus completely on whatever she was doing, reading a story, helping a child tie shoes, leading a song. Her mind wasn't scattered. She could give her full attention to this moment, this child, this task. I asked Helen once what her secret was. How did she stay so patient, so present, after 30 years of 5-year-olds? She laughed. There's no secret. I just love them. And when you love someone, you pay attention. You show up. You do your best. That's all I've ever done. Helen had never heard of the Eightfold Path. But she was walking it every day. She had found that the path isn't exotic or mysterious. It's just the way of living that leads to peace, for yourself and everyone around you. The Eightfold Path isn't about becoming someone different. It's about recognizing the ways you already live wisely and strengthening them. It's about noticing where you cause suffering and learning to do something else. It's a path, not a destination. And you can start walking it right now, exactly where you are. Now we come to the question that's probably on your mind: how do I actually do this? How do I take these ancient teachings and apply them to my modern life, with its deadlines, relationships, responsibilities, and challenges? The answer is, one moment at a time. The path isn't something you complete. It's something you walk, step by step, for the rest of your life. And every step is an opportunity to practice. Start your day with intention. Before you get out of bed, take a few breaths and set an intention. It can be simple: today I will try to be kind. Or more specific: today I will notice when I'm getting angry and take a breath before I speak. This small practice frames your whole day. When you're brushing your teeth, be there. Feel the brush against your teeth. Taste the toothpaste. Hear the water running. This is mindfulness of body. When you're eating breakfast, eat breakfast. Don't check your phone. Don't watch the news. Just eat. Taste the food. Appreciate it. This is mindfulness of feeling. When you're commuting, notice the impulse to be impatient. Notice the desire to get there faster. Notice the frustration when things are slow. This is mindfulness of mind. At work, bring mindfulness to everything. When you're writing an email, be present with the writing. When you're in a meeting, be present with the conversation. When you're solving a problem, be present with the problem. Notice when you're stressed. Notice the sensations in your body, the tight shoulders, the shallow breath, the churning stomach. These are signals. They're telling you that you've left the present moment and gone into the future, worrying about what might happen. Come back to now. Take a breath. Feel your feet on the floor. Notice when you're procrastinating. Notice the thoughts that say, "I'll do it later, it's too hard, I'm not in the mood." These are just thoughts. They're not commands. You can choose to work anyway. In your relationships, practice being present with people. When someone is talking to you, really listen. Don't plan what you're going to say next. Don't judge what they're saying. Just listen. This is the greatest gift you can give anyone. When you're in an argument, notice the impulse to be right. Notice the desire to win. Notice the anger rising. These are just mental states. You can choose not to act on them. You can take a breath. You can say, "I need a moment," and step away. When you're with people you love, appreciate them. Don't take them for granted. Look at them as if you're seeing them for the first time. Notice the details of their faces, their voices, their presence. This moment will never come again. End your day with reflection. Before you sleep, take a few minutes to review the day. What went well? What could have gone better? Where were you mindful? Where were you mindless? This isn't about judgment, it's about learning. Each day is a lesson in how to be human. Then let it go. Whatever happened today is over. You can't change it. You can only learn from it and move on. Tomorrow is a new day, a new opportunity to practice. Let me tell you about a man who embodied this approach. His name was George, and he was a carpenter. He built custom furniture, tables, chairs, cabinets, for people who appreciated fine work. His pieces were exquisite, and he was always in demand. George had been practicing mindfulness for years, but not in any formal way. He just brought the same attention to his work that he brought to everything else. When he was cutting a piece of wood, he was fully there, feeling the saw move through the grain, hearing the sound it made, smelling the dust. When he was sanding a surface, he was fully there, feeling the smoothness emerge under his hands, paying attention to every inch. One day, a client came to him with a rush order. She needed a dining table for a party she was hosting in 3 days. Normally, George would have said no. His work took time, and rushing led to mistakes. But something made him say yes. For 3 days, George worked from dawn to midnight. But he didn't work frantically. He worked mindfully. Each cut was made with full attention. Each joint was fitted with care. Each surface was sanded with patience. He didn't think about the deadline. He didn't think about the client's party. He just thought about this moment, this cut, this joint, this surface. When the table was finished, it was one of the best pieces George had ever made. The client was thrilled. And George realized something: mindfulness isn't about going slow. It's about being present, whether you're going fast or slow. You can work quickly and mindfully. You can meet a deadline and still be present. The key is not to leave the moment, not to get lost in thoughts of past or future, but to stay here, now, fully engaged with whatever you're doing. The hardest thing about this path is consistency. It's easy to be mindful for a few minutes. It's hard to be mindful all day. It's easy to meditate when you're on retreat. It's hard to meditate when life is chaotic. It's easy to be kind when things are going well. It's hard to be kind when you're stressed and tired and frustrated. This is why the path is called a practice. You're not trying to achieve perfection. You're just practicing, over and over, coming back to the moment, again and again. Every time you notice you've been mindless, that's a moment of mindfulness. Every time you remember to come back to the breath, that's a victory. Every time you choose kindness over anger, that's progress. The practice is like learning to play an instrument. At first, it's awkward and difficult. You make mistakes constantly. But you keep practicing, and slowly, gradually, it becomes easier. The notes start to flow. The music starts to emerge. You're not thinking about each finger movement anymore, you're just playing. This is what the path offers, not a destination, but a direction. Not a finish line, but a way of walking. Not a perfect life, but a life lived with awareness, kindness, and peace. We've covered a lot of ground together. Suffering and its cause. The illusion of self. The middle way. The Four Noble Truths. The Eightfold Path. Mindfulness in daily life. But all of this is just words. The real work is yours to do. The Buddha didn't want followers. He wanted people who would investigate for themselves, who would test his teachings in the laboratory of their own lives, who would wake up through their own effort. He said, "Be islands unto yourselves. Be refuges unto yourselves. Don't look for refuge in anyone else." This is both terrifying and liberating. Terrifying because it means you can't outsource your awakening. No one can do it for you. Liberating because it means your freedom is in your own hands. You don't need anyone's permission. You just need to pay attention. So here's my final request: pay attention. Pay attention to your life. Pay attention to your experience. Pay attention to the moments of suffering and the moments of peace. Notice what causes suffering and what ends it. Investigate the nature of this thing you called me. See for yourself what's real and what's illusion. The path is simple but not easy. It requires effort, consistency, and courage. But it's the most worthwhile journey you'll ever take. Because it's not a journey to somewhere else. It's a journey home. To the home you never left. To the peace that's always been here. To the freedom that is your birthright. Thank you for spending this time with me at Monk's Moon Temple. If this teaching has touched you, if something in you recognizes its truth, please subscribe and share it with others who might benefit. The path is walked together. Your presence here supports everyone else on the journey. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be free. May you wake up to what you've always been.